I really appreciate it. We're going to go through the European soccer leagues for this Easter weekend. Kind of a weird schedule, as I think there's already one match that's kicked off. Sorry if you wanted to bet Inter and wanted my insight on that one. I think that one is already gone. But without further ado, I'll start with the Premier League. Then we'll, I guess, go to the FA Cup and go further and deeper into all those sort of things. So Premier League first, start with Tottenham hosting Brighton. Currently Tottenham a 1-goal favorite at home. Seems a little short considering how well Tottenham have been playing. Brighton with a good result last weekend on the road, winning at Arsenal, but can't really see them putting two of those back to back. I will say Brighton getting a full goal of insurance is a nice thing to see, considering Tottenham is not the prom queen that we thought they were, but they've been playing really well lately. Sonny has been awesome. I don't know that I trust Brighton to score here. I think we are fairly sure that Tottenham will get on the board. And once they get that first goal, as Brighton push to try to get an equalizer, that looks a lot more scary. I also think Tottenham just seemed to beat up on bad teams, and Brighton I would consider a bad team at this point. Moving next to Watford hosting Brentford, currently a pick'em, all the juice on Brentford on the road. And that makes sense because Brentford has been playing a lot better. Watford looks like they're a relegation team. Brentford has really done a good job of because they were getting pulled back into relegation talk, but have been on a really great run as of late. Christian Eriksen's come in and been really good for him. Ivan Toney's been great now that he's healthy. And Brentford, we always knew they were going to defend and try to make a 90-minute game as short as possible, make it more like 80. I'm not sure they want to do that here at Watford, and Watford certainly have to be on the front foot trying to score. I just don't know that they've done that under Roy Hodgson. I don't know that he's that type of manager, and I don't really see much happening there. So even if Watford do climb to that quarter goal underdog, I'm not sure that's going to be enough for me. Next, Manchester United hosting Norwich. Currently, Manchester United a 1 3/4 goal favorite. Big number for Manchester United, considering how poorly they've played. Norwich, though, are the worst team in the division, coming off a big win at home against Burnley, which I guess got Sean Dyche sacked, which is incredible, but we'll get to that in a second. Manchester United, I don't believe in them really as a formidable opponent. Though Norwich are not on their level, and Manchester United are one of those teams that can certainly start piling up goals if things are going well for them. I don't know that Norwich are going to be naive and try to go out on the front foot and try to win this match from the beginning, but they need to win matches. I think that getting the 3 points last match day against Burnley was a big deal for them, but they're going to need to kind of push forward and try to get wins, and that doesn't seem like a very good combo. If Manchester United can be in a counterattacking position and use their speed, they're going to crush Norwich. I don't know that Norwich and Dean Smith will be that silly, but ultimately, if this gets to 2, that's a big number for Manchester United to cover, considering Norwich are locking in, fighting to try to stay in the league. Point probably is good enough for them on the road here, so I think they'll play conservatively. We'll see if this moves to 2, but I hope it doesn't because I don't think I really want to lose that bet. Southampton then hosting Arsenal, still on Saturday. Southampton half a goal underdog at home. Saying something considering how poorly Arsenal have been playing, but then again, Southampton raised them with a performance against a really questionable Chelsea side. Getting blasted the way that they did from start to finish is not a great sign. But Southampton do seem to have one of those matches in them each year and bounce back fairly well, it seems, from them. I probably want to check their record to see how they've been doing after those consecutive years of 9-0 losses. But Arsenal looked pretty bad at home against Brighton, which is saying something, kind of hard to do. They've been listless lately, trying to qualify for Champions League, but doesn't look like that's going to happen, at least not based on their recent form. Losing and kind of getting dominated at Crystal Palace on Monday and then not showing up last weekend at home against Brighton. Not a great sign, so I lean the home dog, though Southampton certainly they have plenty of flaws themselves. Moving to Sunday, Newcastle hosting Leicester. Newcastle a quarter goal favorite at home, which is saying something considering how hard it is for them to score. They got a penalty last week, I believe, or excuse me, maybe I think it was a really bad back pass that was intercepted and ended up turning in the net. Newcastle's offense has not been good. Eddie Howe hasn't done much. Alan Saint-Maximin really doesn't do too much for me. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of Newcastle in general. Leicester, though, they did have to play in midweek. They're in Holland. Good comeback victory at PSV, though it looked to me like they deserved that victory, I think. Depends what lineup Leicester's going to put out there, because they have a ton of matches coming up. They're playing like double match days each week. Plus, when they have Conference League, the next leg, whenever that's coming up, I think in 10 days from now. It's a lot of questions on fixture overload and what Brandon Rodgers is going to do. I think there's not much to play for in the league, so they're probably looking at the Conference League as their way to win a trophy this season, and that's what they're really into. So expect some rotation based on this number. But if Leicester puts out a good lineup out there, I'm less worried about their legs because they have a lot of depth up front and they kind of seem interchangeable. And Newcastle's a favorite is something I want to bet against. Last but not least, in the Premier League on Sunday, West Ham hosting Burnley. Currently, West Ham a 3/4 goal favorite. I don't really know where Burnley's going from here. Rumors that they got rid of Sean Dyche, which doesn't make any sense to me, really. Considering they haven't had great run of results, but like, who's going to come in there and all of a sudden turn that team into a team that picks up points? I don't really see it. Anyway, I guess West Ham coming off a big win in the east of France to move on in the Europa League, and that's what they're going for, though I guess they do have some eyes on trying to win out to potentially play in the Champions League race in the Premier League, but I still think that winning the Europa League's got to be their main item. I don't know. I don't love West Ham as a favorite, but Burnley I have real questions about. Maybe if this hits one, I'll be a little bit more interested. Next, moving to the FA Cup, Manchester City not hosting, I guess it's a neutral site event at Wembley. Manchester City, a slight favorite at Pick'em with most of the juice right now to Liverpool. I backed Liverpool last weekend. It's crazy the turnaround that they play again here. And Liverpool certainly had the advantage of getting to rest a lot of their players in Champions League. They came on late with a 3-1 lead and somehow squandered that one, which was bizarre. But my point of view on this one is I want to back Liverpool. I think they're playing better. Manchester City had to use a lot more bodies to hang on for dear life at Atletico Madrid. Had a lot of emotions and that kind of brawl that ensued right at the end of the match, and then apparently in the tunnel as well. Potentially some COVID absences based on Versalco spitting across the aisle. I don't know if that actually happened or if he spat, but it looked like it. So I'm looking to Liverpool. Hopefully this is a Saturday match. Hopefully this one they'll trend up towards getting a quarter. I don't know that move will actually happen, but I'm interested if it does. 2 advanced numbers currently about even. Manchester slightly leaning to Manchester City a little bit, and I would lean Liverpool on that one. But I'm not sure that that's something I want to get involved in. Moving to Sunday's FA Cup, Chelsea facing Crystal Palace at Wembley. And Chelsea's a 1-goal favorite. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Crystal Palace with all the juice right now have nothing to really play for in the league. So this is their ball game. Patrick Vieira, say what you want about him. Defensively, they've been pretty solid, and their offense isn't great, but it's been firing on all cylinders, whereas Chelsea, they scored a bunch midweek against Real Madrid, scored a bunch last week match day against Southampton. But that's going to be tough for them to follow up here. This is a big match for them, and they have a deep squad, but there's been a dark cloud ever since Russia invaded Ukraine over this Chelsea club. And being in a position to completely turn around the tie and collapse and give up a late goal to Rodrigo off a great pass from Modric, and then to lose and capitulate in extra time. Not a great situation for Chelsea right now. I don't think that being angry or being more motivated really helps them here. And Crystal Palace getting a full goal of insurance is a really nice number. All the juice right now is on Crystal Palace, but it doesn't look like this is going to fall to 3/4. Something I will certainly be looking out for is I'm going to make sure I grab that +1 on Crystal Palace. Moving to La Liga, and we do have a Friday match here. We have Real Sociedad hosting Betis. Currently, Real Sociedad a 0.5-goal favorite at home. All the juice on Betis on the road. I don't really agree with that. Sociedad have not been playing well. They're dealing with the injury of Oyarzabal and seem to be getting some fortunate goals, fortunate results that, it's been going on for months now, so maybe I should believe in it. I just don't. Real Betis, they really struggled with a fixture overload, playing too many matches, and it really took a dip in form. But they're hanging around Champions League places. I guess so are Sociedad right now. They're all pretty close in the same area. This big match, I feel like both teams want to win here, and a lot of times that leads to a draw. Sociedad will be at home on the front foot, where I don't feel like they score a ton of goals or really are that efficient offensively. Betis, their defense is a problem, though, and that's the biggest concern for me. But getting a half, albeit very juiced, is currently where I'm leaning. Moving to Saturday, Elche hosting Mallorca. Personally, Elche, a pick'em with most of the juice, and they're starting to drift into that relegation battle. They lost, I think, 2 strikers to injury. They don't really have a lot up top, which is a big concern for them because they don't score a lot of goals anyway. Mallorca have been playing a little bit better as of late under the new manager, Akire, for the old Mexican national team manager, I believe. I'm interested in Mallorca if they climb to a quarter. It doesn't look like that's going to happen just yet, but we'll see Saturday morning. Alaves then hosting Rayo Vallecano. Alaves currently a pick'em with all the juice, or almost all the juice, at home. Rayo have not been playing well. They're, I guess, miraculously got a draw late against Valencia on Monday. Things aren't going great for them, but Alaves are a disaster. I think they're sitting bottom of the table, sacked 2 managers at least, and are trying to figure out a way to earn points. I think this sets up perfectly for Rayo Vallecano's game plan, which is sit back and counterattack. They also got through a red card suspension from an important central defender. We'll see about their health up front, as I know they've been dealing with some injuries there, and I don't think Falcao has played in forever. But if this one trends to a quarter, I will be playing Rayo, even though they're not great on the road and have been struggling, just because I don't believe in Alaves. And I feel like there's too much negativity going around that club right now, and they look certainly to drop. Valencia then hosting Osasuna. And on Saturday, I guess early afternoon here in the U.S., Eastern time at least. Valencia currently a quarter goal favorite, which is a little bit low to me. I'm looking to back Osasuna if they climb to a half, though I don't love Osasuna to say the least. Valencia just doesn't seem to be a team that can really hang on. Kind of got a fluke deflection goal to take the lead at Rayo and then try to hang on for dear life. I don't think that's really a recipe you want as a favorite. They were a dog there, so it's a little different, but and they're certainly, their eyes are fixed on the Copa del Rey. That's where their season's going to be made. So I feel like there might be some conservative use of players coming down the stretch as they get ready for that matchup. I don't know. We'll see. But Osasuna would be my lean right now, though currently at a quarter, it seems a little too short for me. Getafe then hosts Villarreal in the nightcap on Saturday. Getafe, a quarter goal underdog with all the juice at home. Villarreal coming off a big emotional midweek, getting through Bayern Munich in Champions League. Incredible run to the semifinal. Getafe are going to take advantage of that. Villarreal probably will rotate quite a bit because they're fighting for the league to finish Champions League in a European spot, but ultimately Champions League is definitely their best shot through the Champions League playoff and winning that competition. Unlikely, but possible. Getafe are catching them in a good position, and I guess I lean that way as the underdog at home, but I'm not sure that I love them because they don't really score goals, and Villarreal's backups, I think, are better at scoring than Getafe's starters. Moving to Sunday, Granada hosting Levante. Currently, Granada a pick'em at home with all the juice, looking like trending to a quarter. And if it gets there, I'm interested in Levante because Granada have not been playing well. They're in a relegation fight, as are Levante. I don't think either of these defenses are any good. Granada's probably slightly better, and that's why they're a little bit better in the table. But Levante can score a lot better, or a lot more reliable to score. I feel like Granada's front line hasn't done anything in so long. That is a favorite. That's what I want to go against. We'll see if it gets to a quarter. The Levante defense definitely is scary. Atletico Madrid then hosting Espanyol, currently Atleti, a 1.25 favorite, which is saying something because they put out a lot of energy in midweek, Champions League, emotional, all that sort of stuff. Got clapped by the fans when they didn't advance, but pretty tough draw ultimately. I think Espanyol getting more than a goal is of interest because Atleti, I'm not really sure what they have in the tank. They definitely have a deeper squad, but use a lot of energy trying to holding Man City, but then trying to advance as well, and the emotions that came with the aftermath. Something I'd probably like to look to be against, especially when they're above a goal favorite. And I don't really believe in them, and I feel like they've been getting really fortunate results for months now. Espanyol, though, not the prettiest, but with Raul de Tomas in the lineup, that's very important for their offense. Moving along to Athletic Club hosting Celta de Vigo, currently Athletic Club a half a goal favorite with all the juice, which seems very expensive to me for a team that kind of struggles to score and wants to counter. Celta de Vigo will certainly give those opportunities, but as this trends higher and higher to 3/4 of a goal, I get more interested in Celta de Vigo. One person I want to make sure is in that lineup is Iago Aspas, because he seems to be just the magician who is such a threat every time, no matter how many times he touches the ball. And there's a good possibility here that Celta de Vigo might have the ball, might win the possession battle. And as an underdog, that's very interesting to me. Moving to the nightcap on Sunday, the big match of the weekend, Sevilla hosting Real Madrid. Currently, Sevilla a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice, playing with all full legs because they got to rest midweek while Real Madrid had to play extra time against Chelsea. That's, something of interest to me for sure. Sevilla, especially, I think Casemiro suspended for this one. Sevilla are a team, getting a quarter is not too much, but I felt like they outplayed Real Madrid on the road in the first matchup this year. Legs are in a better situation. They have not been playing great, but I think they're a team that can get a draw here. And they're fighting to kind of hang on to Champions League. They got a lot going for them. Real Madrid are pretty far ahead. Certainly see this as their closest contender, so they'll be putting whatever they can out there. But like I said, no Casemiro and having to win on the road. Pretty interested in that home dog, though it's very expensive at the moment. Might fall down to pick them, and then I'll probably skip. Moving to Monday, Barcelona hosting Cadiz. Currently, Barcelona a 1-3 quarter goal favorite. Big number and very disappointing, crashing out of Europa League, but that's kind of been how everything's gone for Barcelona this year, though Xavi has certainly turned them around. I don't know that Cadiz are a team I really want to back, and I'm definitely going to sneeze, so here we go. Or maybe not. Moving to Italy for Serie A, Friday matchup, I guess in an hour or so. It's AC Milan hosting Genoa. Currently, AC Milan a 1.5 goal favorite at home. Goal scoring hasn't been easy for AC Milan lately. They're definitely fighting to try to win the Scudetto, but it's looking a little bit further and further based on other teams around them performing better. Genoa, though, they're not really a big threat. Offense hasn't really been there. They're fighting relegation. Can they hang around with AC Milan? I think so, because AC Milan have been struggling to score. But I don't think Genoa can either. And once that first goal goes in, the second is way more likely of AC Milan. I think certainly gun to my head, I'll play Genoa here, but getting a goal and a half, and that's a big number for them, for AC Milan especially to handle. I don't know. There's a lot going around Genoa that makes me not want to back them, and they're clearly the inferior side here. Moving to Saturday, Cagliari hosting Sassuolo. Currently, Cagliari a pick'em. All the juice on Sassuolo on the road. Seems a little cheap to me based on how well Sassuolo have been playing. Whether the results have followed, they've been great, I think. And Cagliari, I do not really want to touch, even if it gets to a quarter. I just feel like they have real trouble scoring goals, where Sassuolo do not. Sampdoria then hosting Salernitana. Currently, Sampdoria half a goal favorite at home with all the juice. Probably am going to fight myself from backing Salernitana here, as I think they can be competitive. Had a really rough loss last weekend, but Sampdoria are just not a team I believe in, trust. I think as a favorite is someone I want to bet against. I just don't know that Salernitana, despite having all the veterans that they could possibly want, I'm not sure that that's a side I want to back, because they are the worst team in Serie A. Udinese then hosting Empoli. Currently, Udinese a half a goal favorite at home with all the juice, likely climbing to 3/4. It's a big number, though. Udinese have been playing really well. Their offense has been good. Defense has been pretty tight, considering that was a former stalwart defense, or that's what they were known for, was defending. They've certainly kind of gone on the front foot a little bit this year, and that was what got their manager sacked earlier in the year, because they couldn't defend and they weren't scoring. But now that they're scoring, they're looking a lot more dangerous. Empoli's offense has been pretty good, but their defense is not great, and almost makes surprised to look at an Udinese game and want to go over, but over 2.5, pretty juiced right now. But that looks of interest to me, and probably means that I avoid Empoli, because I just don't know that I want them in a high scoring game, because that makes the half a goal less important, and I think it also puts them in a position where they got to kind of keep up with Udine, and that's going to be hard for them to do. Moving along to Fiorentina hosting Venezia. Currently, Fiorentina a 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice, so climbing to 1.5 most likely. Venezia, their slide continues. The only losses they take are brutal ones at the end. Speaking of Udine, with their late-headed goal last weekend, Rodrigo Bacao. Venezia look like they're going down. They have been sinking like a rock. Fiorentina's been playing pretty well, getting a big win at Napoli, if I remember correctly, from last weekend. They're flying, about to be 1.5 goal favorites, which is a big number. Venezia are great at giving up a late goal, whether it's to lose a match or to lose a cover on a match when they're trailing by 1. I feel like that happened to Napoli, with Napoli against them at Venezia earlier this year. I don't know. I just feel like Venezia have been playing so poorly, I can't really look to back them anymore. Juve then hosting Bologna. Juve 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice, likely climbing to 1.5. Juve haven't been playing that well. Got a win rescued out of the fire last weekend. Bologna have been pretty competitive. I think I'll look at Bologna. Depends on their situation with injuries, and I know their manager had his cancer has returned, which is really sad. But Bologna have been fighting pretty hard with him, without him. And if Arnautovic is in there, then they have a route to goals, which is really important because I don't know that Juve is beating anybody by 2 goals right now, or if that's really a reliable or trustworthy thing. Lazio then hosting Torino. Lazio a 3-quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice, so it likely climbs to 1. Lazio been scoring a ton of goals, and that's a scary thing to go against. Torino are going to give them chances because they're going to play on the front foot and try to score with them. I don't know that's a great combo, but when this hits 1, that gets a little bit more interesting to me. And I guess these are all Saturday matches because of Easter Sunday. It's a big deal in Italia. So we'll move to Monday. Napoli hosting Roma. Currently Napoli a 0.5 goal favorite. Roma playing midweek. Bodo Glimt, they rescued and went through, advanced, which is important. But that's going to zap those legs. Napoli coming off the loss to Fiorentina, pretty upset. At home, they're pretty good. They haven't really been playing that well as of late, but Roma haven't either and have a leg disadvantage. So I'm not sure that a 0.5 is enough for me to back Roma there because they seem to struggle against the top of Serie A. Anyway, Atalanta, 1 goal favorite then to Verona. Should be some goals in this one. Totals 2 3/4. Just a little bit high for Serie A, but I guess not super high. Verona, their defense has been problematic, though they can score goals. Atalanta put a ton of effort into Europa League, and unfortunately, we're against a Leipzig side that just outplayed them. I think from where I sit with this one, Verona getting a full goal of insurance is pretty interesting to me to fade Atalanta coming off a Thursday match when Verona got midweek off. Though the Verona offense has not done really much lately, didn't look any good last weekend, and we're just suffering a barrage of attempts from Inter and ended up losing 2-0. Had a couple chances of their own, didn't finish them though, and that's kind of what bad teams do. And Verona, I'm not sure they're a bad team, but mid-table team is probably a better way to put it. Moving next to the Bundesliga. And we'll start with no Friday matches, which is interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. Maybe to stagger or whatever. Borussia Dortmund hosting Wolfsburg. Currently, Dortmund a 1 goal favorite with all the juice. They deserve to be because they're better than Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg are a team that played really well, got a big win last weekend, kind of out of the blue. I don't really see them scoring, and we're scoring well or hanging around with Dortmund, who their defense is problematic. I don't know that Wolfsburg really have the bodies to cause a ton of problems. I mean, anybody can cause a problem against the Borussia Dortmund defense. Rangers did it, for God's sake. But ultimately, Wolfsburg, I don't know that they're a team I really want to look to back because they're really good at surrendering a late goal. And Florian Kohfeld's just going to try to defend, and that's not really the way to do it against Dortmund. I think you need to have a potent attack, and I don't know that Wolfsburg really have that. Even with the mid-season transfer window additions they did to spend a lot of money, that was really to escape relegation, I think. I don't know. I mean, getting more than a goal from Dortmund, especially if this climbs with looking like it will based on juice right now, that's of interest to me. I don't know. Next is Augsburg hosting Hertha Berlin. Currently, Augsburg a 0.5 goal favorite, which is a big number for them to lay and makes me want to lean Hertha Berlin, but they are there's rot within Hertha Berlin. Look like they're potentially going down. Their goal differentials puts them in a really bad position. They have to finish above Arminia Bielefeld, which is possible, and it's going to have to start with a result here. And I just don't really trust them to do that, though I'm certainly not laying a 0.5 with Augsburg. Mainz then hosting Stuttgart, giving a 0.5 of a goal. All the juice on Stuttgart. We're fighting relegation. Mainz are pretty safe. But the Mainz offense is really tough to trust. I'm not sure that I believe in it. Stuttgart have been great off of corner kicks, despite not having their 6'7" Sasha Kalajdzic available to them much this year. They've been dealing with injuries all season. I lean to Stuttgart because they've got a lot to play for, and they've been playing better. They've been kind of snake bitten, and I really want to see how I can trust that offense. I'm not really sure. I mean, Borna Sosa's been great. He's awesome feeding crosses into the box. I think Mainz are going to bring a toughness, but as a favorite, that doesn't really fit them so well. Falls to a quarter, I'll probably skip, but at a 0.5, I'll lean Stuttgart for right now. Freiburg then hosting Bochum. Currently, Freiburg a 3/4 goal favorite at home. And that's a pretty big number for them to lay, considering they've really made this good run into Champions League competition. Sitting Europa League now, trying to fight their way into Champions League. I'm not sure they're going to get there, but they've done that from a really good defense. Bochum, when they're not at home, are going to struggle with going on the road and trying to be competitive. But they have shown that they can stay in the league. They're a good mid-table side in the Bundesliga, despite not a lot of expectations for that coming into the season. I think getting 3/4 of goal, if they lose by 1, there's a good chance that would be the worst result that would occur. And then you get You'll only lose half your stake. I'm interested in both of them, and we'll see what happens because more of the juice is on Freiburg right now. Saturday's rivalry matchup, but in the feature window is Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting Cologne. Currently, Gladbach are a half a goal favorite with all the juice on Cologne on the road. I do like Cologne, but I'm not sure that they at a quarter. I'm not sure that I do based on the rivalry that should have the crowd completely filled. I haven't heard anything with new coronavirus restrictions or whatever. But Cologne, I mean, they're the side that I lean. I feel like Gladbach have not been very good, though their strike partnership or trio up front have been a lot hotter as of late with Embolo, Playa, and someone else that I'm forgetting. But anyway, I think Cologne getting a half is of interest to me. I would probably play that if the lineups look okay. I'm curious about Anthony Modest's status because he's been in and out of the lineup most recently. Moving to Sunday, Arminia Bielefeld, a 2-goal underdog at home to Bayern Munchen. And Bielefeld are going to claw for this one and try to keep it 0-0. Going to try to lay on the floor or foul the heck out of Bayern to make them lay on the floor to waste time. Bayern coming off an elimination because they had too much hubris or believed in themselves too much offensively and put themselves in a bad position defensively. I don't think it changes their game plan. Nagelsmann just makes them angrier and makes them want to win big here. I do think an angry Bayern Munchen is a team that I don't want to fade, even getting a full 2 goals of insurance at home with Arminia Bielefeld, who see 1 point from here as a huge windfall to them. I just don't know that that's even enough for me, unfortunately. Maybe if it climbs, I'll get a little bit more interested, but certainly less than 2 I wouldn't do. More than 2. Not even sure I want that then. Hoffenheim then hosting Greuther Fürth. Currently, Hoffenheim a 1 3/4 goal favorite. Huge number considering how poorly they've been playing, but Greuther Fürth are the magic elixir to make you start playing well. Union Berlin then hosting Eintracht Frankfurt. Currently, Union a 1/4 goal favorite with all the juice at home, which is incredible to me considering how poorly they've been playing, how their team has been basically ripped to shreds by other Bundesliga sides picking off their players because they can pay a few more thousand a week. I guess Frankfurt coming off an emotional advancing victory at Barcelona was completely unexpected, and everyone is probably really pumped in Frankfurt, maybe still partying right now with this match on Sunday. But getting a quarter, and it might climb to a half, not a great emotional situation, but Union are not a favorite that I'm afraid of. And if this moves to half of a goal, I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid Eintracht Frankfurt, who they have some suspensions they need to deal with, but these matches I think are coming up Europa League a week or and a half from now. So, man, I was looking to potentially back Union Berlin at home as hopefully an underdog, but that's clearly not happening. And as a favorite, I think they're too rich, even with a great scenario of fresh legs off of midweek. Maybe Eintracht Frankfurt have nothing to them going into this matchup, but Union are not a team that want to possess the ball. They want to counterattack. I don't know. This sets up pretty well for Frankfurt, especially considering the number. Everything besides the emotions of Europa League. Maybe they're dead, but I choose to believe that they're not, especially because they're trying to fight for. I mean, they probably see the Europa League. I'll keep going on this as a good shot for them to get in the Champions League by winning that, considering they're in the semis. But I don't think they're throwing away the league because they had a tough loss to Freiburg last weekend and looked a little bit out of energy. But still, I think they're in a pretty good position that they have a deeper bench than you'd give them credit for. And maybe we'll see that here, and maybe we'll get that half, and I'll be fighting myself not to play it. Bayer Leverkusen, then to wrap up Bundesliga for this weekend, they're hosting RB Leipzig in the late match. Leipzig coming off advancing against Atalanta on the road in Italy. Leverkusen are currently a 1/4 goal underdog with almost all the juice at home. I don't know. Leipzig are playing so well that it's really hard to want to go against them, I got to say. Leverkusen, their offense has been better. I mean, certainly when Schick's in the lineup, that's really important to them. I'm just not sure that he's really doing enough right now for them. And it's probably one that I will skip, even though the home dog is always of interest to me. Moving to Ligue 1, in our last part of Friday's action, we have Ren hosting Monaco. Currently, Ren a 1/2 goal favorite with all the juice on Monaco on the road. Maybe this falls to a quarter. That will certainly keep me away from Monaco. I think Ren are a better side. Despite not believing that coming into the year. Monaco have been really disappointing. I don't want them. Moving to Saturday, Saint-Etienne hosting Brest. Currently, Saint-Etienne a 1/4 goal favorite, and they've been so bad lately. It's hard to really see them being a favorite to anybody. Maybe this is their bounce back here because they've crushed me when I've backed them or crushed me when I've been against them. But Brest are going to bring a defensive measure to them into this matchup. Probably going to play conservatively. Saint Etienne are going to be ripe for counterattacks, and that's exactly where I want to be against Saint Etienne because their defense has been disastrous. And that's why they're fighting relegation and might fall down to Ligue 2, which is crazy, incredible, all that sort of stuff. I like Brest getting a quarter. Moving to the nightcap on Saturday, Lille hosting Lens. Currently, Lille a half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Lens on the road. Lille have not really been that impressive. Maybe they win this matchup, but I think Lens getting a half is another interest of mine. They're going to be on the front foot trying to score goals that will give Lille some opportunities. I just don't know that Lille can take them. So they're a team that were really good based on defense last year, and that has not been the case this year. Had a good run, maybe middle of the year, but haven't been good lately, I don't think. And Lens, I mean, Psycho Fofana is just so awesome, and I love backing that guy. So interested there. Moving to Sunday, Nice hosting Lorient in the early one. Nice a 3/4 goal favorite at home. They haven't been playing well. Simple as that. Even up a man for an hour of last week's matchup and ended up losing 3-0. And I mean, just disastrous. Gaultier, I'm starting to wonder what hasn't really been a hit this year, but I still believe in them to play defense just as a 3/4 goal favorite. That's not really what they're going to be doing here. Lorient's defense has not been good, but their offense is pretty good. Gun to my head, certainly playing Lorient at +1. I'll probably play them, but if it doesn't get there, I'll probably skip, hoping Nice has a bounce back and I don't have to pay to see it. Nantes then hosting Angers. Currently, Nantes a half a goal favorite at home. Angers are just on the no-touch list right now for me. I don't believe in them. Their business practices, what they did selling their goalkeeper for a guy that was completely inept behind him, and learned that the hard way. So I think taking a 2-0 lead at Marseille and then not even close to covering a goal spread. Getting half, I mean, certainly would lean that way as an underdog player, but I'm not interested. Metz then hosting Clermont Foot, currently pick 'em with juice pretty even. Not a lot for me to do there. I don't really see either of the teams being underdogs, but I guess would lean Clermont Foot as a better side. Montpellier hosting Reims, currently Montpellier a 1/4 goal favorite with most of the juice right now. Reims have not been playing great lately, but they are a team I still believe in defensively. Montpellier have been playing worse because I don't know who could be worse in the form table based on how they've been playing. So certainly leaning to Reims as a road underdog. I think they're going to try to play defense. Montpellier aren't going to play much of that. They're going to try to outscore Reims, and that'll leave them open a little bit. Maybe Reims have been fortunate to be where they are this year, but they were a huge cash cow for most of the season. And Montpellier have been the opposite lately. Troyes then hosting Strasbourg. Currently, Troyes half a goal underdog at home with all the juice. Don't really like the home dog because Strasbourg are good. Pretty much that. Lyon then hosting Bordeaux, coming off crashing out of Europa League and having their fans just on the best French football behavior after that. But that was really their shot to get to Europe. They're sitting mid-table and don't really look great in Liga, really. But they do get Bordeaux, who are probably going down, are an awful team that can't defend and are likely going to give up a ton of goals. Some emotions here probably with former Lyon center back, Marcel, whatever it is. He'll probably have some momentum, and he's definitely a red card threat for Bordeaux. So I like Bordeaux on getting Lyon's tired legs and disappointment and probably just not as much care for the season because they don't really have a lot to do anymore. And they got their season really just ended on Thursday. But Bordeaux have a lot to fight for. So getting that goal and a half is of interest to me. I just don't know that I want to get involved because Lyon can certainly score goals. That's what they're good at. Last but not least, the Olympique PSG hosting Marseille. PSG currently a 1.5 goal favorite. We're just saying something because Marseille did play midweek. But that's a huge number for PSG to lay. They have been good at blasting bad teams, certainly. But I'm not sure that they really have a lot that they care about. PSG right now, Marseille rotated a fair amount for Europa Conference League midweek. So we'll see. I mean, getting a goal and a half is of interest to me. This one is definitely some red card threats here as well. I'm not sure that I'm going to end up playing this one, but Marseille getting more than a goal. I haven't really liked them so far this year, I got to say, but they've been kind of teaching me a lesson, and I do like them getting more than a goal because I think this is always a big rivalry and could be a really tight match that might see a red card for the PSG side that might change things completely. So certainly a game they could still win. Even down a man, but getting a goal and a half is a big number for Marseille to see in this rivalry. So I think that'll do it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. Again, you can hit me on or follow me on Twitter, @thereal_G Warner. And I will be seeing you. Thank you for wherever you're catching this, either on Apple Podcasts, StreamYard, on Twitter, on YouTube, or on Instagram. Thank you for supporting, and we will talk to you soon.
Recording stopped.
Okay, well.